Welcome into the drive on this fine Tuesday afternoon. Getting steamy out there in eastern and central Maine. The drive presented by Next Home Experience, the market leader. Get looped and get sold with Next Home Experience. I'm Mark Paulette, alongside Ernie Clark here in the Greenway Equipment Studios, presented by Greenway Equipment Sales, your locally owned John Deere dealer. See the Smith Brothers in Bangor and Ellsworth, because nothing runs like a Deere. Busy show coming your way. We got 3 guests on the phone line lined up. One of those being a business spotlight with Mike Dineen of Uno's in this first hour, because they've got a special running for the Team USA game tomorrow. So we'll get filled in on that, talk some World Cup soccer with Mike, and then on to the drive at 5. Sean Devaney, NBA insider, editor for Heavy.com, will be joining us. Busy day in the association. I had a chance to talk with Keegan Stiefel of Nesson earlier today, talking Celtics and Red Sox with him. But Ernie, just a couple of minutes ago, within the last 5 or 10 minutes before we come on air here, one of the more recent rumors in the NBA appears to be coming to fruition. Kawhi Leonard coming back east. He has been dealt back to the Toronto Raptors for a package centered around Brandon Ingram, a couple of first-round picks. But Kawhi, so basically that's what Toronto's doing. They're trading out Brandon Ingram for Kawhi, and a roster that's been pretty quickly built back up on the fly.
Yeah, they're in position in terms of, again, being in the Eastern Conference, which we think is not as good as the Western Conference, except for the Knicks, of course. But that's a good move, and that's a good move, and it epitomizes the win now mentality, because Kawhi Leonard's like 35.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, you start putting him in trades with Jaylen Brown, and you can't, because it's 5-6 years difference between the two of them, age-wise. So that's not a trade you would ever make. Not that they were ever gonna, but of course he got thrown in there with everybody else after Giannis was dealt, and but that's a good trade for the Raptors. He obviously had success there. Won the NBA title in 2019, I believe, with the Raptors. Also won with the Spurs early on, 14 or 15. I can't remember the year. It was one of those two, but. That's what they need. Again, the whole thing with Kawhi Leonard is health, just like everybody else. He's missed so much time over the years, but when he's healthy, like he was last year, he averaged 26, 28 points a game last year for the Clippers, and because it doesn't do any good when you do it for the Clippers, because they never win anything. But
I mean, Toronto came on strong at the end of last season, too. They got up to, 5th in the East? They were that 4-5 matchup, I think, going in, or 3-6 at worst. And
they've been pretty solid everywhere, but maybe needed that kind of leader, that veteran, very veteran presence who's also capable of winning ball games. I still remember that shot he hit from the corner.
Oh, to beat Philly.
Yeah. And it must have been the Eastern Conference Finals
that year.
And and so he's hit dramatic shots, and he's been very good for a long time when he's not hurt, excuse me. And we'll see how it is. He is 35, so that kind of happens. People get that age and older. But to me, that's a good deal, because Brandon Ingram is a guy. Yeah. I mean, he can score, but everybody can score now. Everybody's averaging 17 to 25 points a game. So that's not a big loss. I mean, I don't know what the draft pick situation is, but certainly they Raptors made a decision to let's go for it now. Scotty Barnes they've got, and they've got some other people there that are pretty solid ball players, and so let's go for it now. They probably got a couple of years out of Kawhi Leonard, perhaps at the most. Don't know what the contract situation is, but he's 35, so he's not going to play that much longer at a level good enough to be able to lead a team somewhere. But they're going to have him for that period of time. He's coming off a good year. If they can just keep him healthy, there'll be another team that the Knicks and the Pistons and the Cavaliers and the Celtics will all have to deal with.
Yeah, so that's appearing to be the first move that's either on the cusp of going through today or certainly heading towards that direction. We know LeBron James is heading to a new home. We just don't know where that's going to be, because he and the Lakers parting ways earlier today. Sounds like a little bit of a situation where he knew he was going to get broken up with, so he decided to let the world know that he is single and ready to mingle.
Well, he knew he wasn't going to get $50 million from the Lakers, because they want to spend it on they just spent a bunch of it on Austin Reeves.
Yep.
For what, 185 or something like that, which Reeves didn't even know he was going to get until he was on the golf course, and got a phone call and
Not bad for an undrafted guy.
clutched his heart. Didn't know if he was having the big one or not, but he's okay. And good. Well, he's kind of earned it. I mean, he's a guy undrafted.
Yep.
And he has made himself into a legitimate borderline all-star.
Yep.
He averaged 20 points a game or so last year for the Lakers, and he's part of their future. And LeBron is kind of part of the past. Now, how much will LeBron want from somebody? How much will teams be willing to give him? There's all this talk, and you can speak to it, about the Warriors putting together a senior team.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there. They're on the NBA Champions Tour.
They're doing we got Steph Curry.
Just grasping.
And we got Draymond, for what it's worth. I guess they are going to get Draymond. He turned down the player option so they could pay him less to bring him back, so they could add guys like Porzingis, who they've got coming back. Al Horford's coming back for him. Jimmy Butler, if he's healthy.
Yeah, they appear to say, or at least be signaling, that they're not going to trade Jimmy Butler. And then now, can they add LeBron into the mix? Brian Windhorst said today that he hasn't heard too much on the Anthony Davis line of rumor, that was also a thought. Maybe they can try to trade for him with Dallas and really bring the all-dinosaur team together. But yeah, that would be an aging starting lineup. Like if this was 2018, Steph, Butler, LeBron, Draymond, that's giving you some worry. Kristaps, Al Horford, but in 2026, 27, I don't know.
Yeah, how long can they all stay upright, basically, is the question. See, I told you my theory about LeBron James. I figure once Jaylen Brown's gone, he's going to come and play for the Celtics because he's a minority owner of the Red Sox, and he can kind of straighten out what's going on down there, too, while he's at it.
Well, John Henry needs a little help. He needs another billionaire friend in town helping to pay off for the Red Sox and how expensive that franchise is.
The Celtics will pay him in Red Sox stock options and get a few more. He wind up being the majority owner.
Double it up. Go from 6 to 12, and boy, wouldn't that set Celtic Nation ablaze with people freaking out.
Man, I'll tell you what. So what do you think's going to happen with Jaylen Brown anyways?
With Jaylen Brown, God, who knows? Because every day brings a new passive aggression on his part, but also, like, at the same time, I can understand why he's feeling the way he is, yet you have to have thicker skin than that when you are a $300 million athlete who has accomplished as much as he has. That's kind of where I land on it.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to be $300 million man with the Celtics because...
Not looking that way.
To me, that's why this is happening.
Yeah, they want to reshape how they go about doing business.
It's almost like... It's kind of a Red Sox kind of deal almost. It's almost like they used the whole Giannis thing as a smokescreen to say, well, we tried to trade him, and now we can't trade him, but we're not going to pay him the 2-year extension at $140 million or whatever it is.
Now we're stuck. The bridge has been burned. There's no going back.
And now we cannot. It's impossible right now to make a trade. Well, it's not impossible, but it's 99% impossible to make a trade involving Jaylen Brown that gets you back anything close to an equal deal.
Everything looks like 40 to 50 cents on the dollar.
Right.
And it's just because everyone out there knows that they're negotiating against nothing. They're negotiating against what appears to be an untenable situation between Brown and coming back to the Celtics.
That and how many other teams are going to want to pay him $140 million for 2 years on top of the 3 that he's still contracted for? I mean, how many other teams are going to do that? I don't really know. The one I heard yesterday or the day before that really intrigued me, and it won't happen, is trying to wait out Jokic out in Denver, and because he's got a contract situation after this coming year, and they can put up with Brown for another year. Maybe they can make that work. I don't know, but I mean, who else are they going to get that's anywhere close?
Anywhere close to him, yeah. There isn't anything out there right now.
2035 draft picks. I mean, and what it does, the other thing it does. I mean, I'm kind of screwing around when I talk about this smokescreen thing, but it just makes it look all the worse that they didn't get Giannis, because what Giannis did, and who knows how good he'll be and who knows how healthy he'll stay, but what he did was kind of remove what I believe is some redundancy between Brown and Tatum. He fits a different area of the court, rim protection, post offense, that kind of thing, and it's something that I was in favor of, but they didn't they didn't see it the same way. They weren't willing to give up the future of the Celtics, i.e.,
Ugo and
Baylor Shireman. Funny they didn't mention Jordan Walsh. They did sign him though, but yeah. So I mean, it's all screwed up. And
do you view it as a situation of like the Celtics making that they screwed it? They and Brad Stevens kind of bungled this whole situation a little bit in that sense that maybe they dangled him too far out there for Giannis. And then you really can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
They certainly dangled him out there too far for Jaylen.
Yeah.
But what I don't know is whether or not all along the idea has been to get out of having to give a contract extension. I truly believe that's not like a secondary reason.
Sure.
That's one of the primary reasons. You got new ownership, and you got $150 million. They finally got under the thresholds, and I'm sure that would probably put them back in terms of one. And what does that do in terms of trying to develop the rest of the team, which they found out this past season wasn't very good.
No.
And, I don't know how good they would have been having everybody from all season, given that, it would have been better, but still don't know if they would have won the thing in terms of the Eastern Conference at least, because they didn't have much. They had regular season depth, but they didn't have postseason depth.
No, and when you got two guys taking up $70 million apiece, and the fact that they both kind of do the same thing, I think that's where Brad Stevens is looking at this down the line and saying, he tells the media at his season-ending press conference, or actually after round one of the draft, it's okay to build your team like that as long as your guys are really good, which is what we have had. We have been fortunate in that sense, but the league is also changing a little bit, and it's skewing away from just loading up on the wing and trying to be as lengthy and as long as you can be, which is kind of where they were the last couple of years.
Right.
To now, I want a guy down low.
I want someone down low. Bigger guys.
Who can?
Wemby is one. Jokic is kind of was one of the first ones of the new generation, and they need to address that. And the other part of it, to me, is kind of like I think about the Bruins and their goaltending situation a little bit, where they spend $12 million of their $75 million on goaltenders, and you see who wins the Stanley Cup this year. It's a guy that didn't even have a job a year ago. Was it Bussy or Boosie? I can't remember.
He's hanging out in the Bruins organization.
Former Providence Bruin, yeah, exactly. And they've got a guy in the minors, in DiPietro, who's ready to go. Who's like the MVP of the league, pretty much as a backup next year. And so, but they're spending a high percentage of their salary availability on one position. And that's it's two guys, but it's one mostly one strength in terms of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And so don't know that they want to do that for three additional years at who knows how many million. I mean, we know it's 140 or 140 to 150 for Brown, but I mean, at what point does Tatum come up for some more cash?
Yeah, I think he's 1 year removed, right? He signed his big deal the year after Jaylen Brown signed his, so we're probably going through this next summer with him.
You might be talking another $300-400 million between the two of them these next time around, and I don't know that the salary cap's going to go up that fast, or the magic amount you can sign guys to and still be under these thresholds, the second apron, so to speak. So, I kind of hope it's settled soon. That's what I hope it is settled. And I don't know how you settle it, because, I mean, he's either going to be traded or he's going to play for the Celtics, right?
Yep.
I mean, he's got 3 more years on the contract to the Celtics.
One of two outcomes to this thing.
But if he's going to be bitchy all the time because they're not adding to the 160 or 180 million he's got coming between now and the time that extension would kick in, I don't know. He's going to get a lot of fan sympathy on that deal.
Yeah, I don't know how much fan sympathy he's going to get going forward, even if he comes back to the Celtics, because now the outward chip that he has always had on his shoulder towards everyone else, because he's just that type of person. Like, he seems to have that motivation factor. But it's now turned inward. It's now looking at the Celtics as they're the ones slighting him or disrespecting him. So that, to me, looks like a tough relationship, or at least a tough factor to overcome here.
And he would use the factor, and I guess I wouldn't blame him if I was in his position, the fact that the Celtics and Tatum in particular, neither one of them has said a word.
Yep, no,
about this
no one's
whole
really
situation. Nobody
backed
said
him publicly.
He's our boy, and I mean, Stevens kind of alluded to that at one point there, but really didn't come out and say in a very forceful way that Brownie's our boy. You know?
No, he said the obvious. He's a big part of who we are and what we do.
Has been so for 10 years.
Yep.
And we hope he would be for another 10. But money talks. So it's going to be interesting. Going to be. I'm kind of curious, and we'll know pretty soon how little will the Celtics take.
Yeah,
to dump the salary at this point. And that's kind of sad that it's gotten to that point.
That's holding out hope in Brad Stevens that he isn't going to take a deal just because he feels that one needs to be made. He's going to take one that presents top value.
Is Portland, the Trailblazers, out of the picture now because...
That's what Sham said after the deal yesterday for Ja Morant.
Has signed, and he's done nothing. He's only played like a third of the games the last 3 years.
That's the thing. I saw a lot of talk about how are they going to make it work with all these guards, Damian Lillard, Ja Morant. Those are two guys that barely played in the last 2 seasons combined.
And Lillard's old and coming off the Achilles surgery. But they also have re-signed the Time Lord for 3 years. Now they could trade him, but they've signed him for I think
3 for 44,
which is what? That's 14. Almost $15 million a year.
Because the thought was maybe that move makes them more likely to package like Drew Holiday along with the former number 2 pick, Scoot Henderson from a couple of years ago, and Shaedon Sharpe. But like Aaron and I were talking yesterday, I don't really know. Are those guys just scorers on a mediocre team, or are they good basketball players? That's not something I can tell you.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, I was reading about Scoot Henderson this morning, and he's apparently got a lot better from the start of the season to the end of the season. That's where the wizardry of Brad Stevens' personnel man would have to figure that out. But, I mean, it's just like people are very high on Donovan Clingan.
Yeah,
and
they reportedly are so high that they don't want to include him in the package.
Yeah, which well, I mean, it tells you how scarce
bigs are,
quality, rim defenders, post defenders are at this point, and how important it is to have one or two. And now looks like the Trailblazers are. It seems like they're pretty set at the post position with the two of those guys. The Celtics would probably take either one, but looks like they're not going to get either one.
No, it seems like they're content with kind of doing their thing and going about it with how they're building it after that trade. So maybe one less potential suitor off the list for Jaylen Brown, but it's going to be a couple of weeks here of daily updates, hourly watching, trying to reload the feed and see what's happened.
And how valuable to the Celtics, if you think about the shelf life of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, how valuable to the Celtics are draft picks in 2032 and 2031 at this point?
I mean,
you talk about those guys, even if you got them both and they're happy, I would say once you get past 5 years, which is what, 2030 or so, 2030, what's right on that borderline. I mean, I guess you might be drafting guys to replace them, but
that's the thing. You're drafting replacements at that point, not anything to help them.
Not compliments. So, so that's where it gets me that I understand it would make more sense to try to find young talent and see how
plug in right now,
how good they are, because you've got some time with them. Of course, when Cooper Flagg's contract's up, that's
only got to wait 3 more years on that front, right?
Yeah, by that time,
3 more seasons, then compare him with JT.
Brown will surely be gone, and then we can take his money and give it to old Coop.
$70 million and allocated over there. The Drive's brought to you by Premium Choice Broadband, local, family-owned, and bringing affordable high-speed internet to Maine for over a decade. You can call or email and mention PCB the Ticket to get a free month for new residential customers. Visit PremiumChoiceBroadband.com for details. We're also brought to you by Union Street Towing. They've got you covered if you're stuck on the side of the road 24/7 and statewide from breakdowns to lockouts. They'll get you moving fast at 942-4200 Union Street Towing, driven to be there when you need them the most. When we come back, a couple of drive polls to put on the table. Some of the action last night at Fenway Park. Wilson Contreras playing with a lot of emotion, understandably so, because during the day he's fielding calls and messages from family and friends in Venezuela and trying to figure out who's missing with all the devastation going on down there. So his head is a rather busy place when he's stepping into the batter's box, and he unleashed that emotion after his home run last night. That was a much more outwardly at least show of emotion than the rather benign act that got him booted from the game, Ernie, which was tapping his helmet after a called third strike by the first base umpire. He checked his swing. They checked the call at first base. First base umpire rings him up, and then Wilson, while he's walking back to the dugout, a very colorful character, is tapping his helmet the whole time, and the first base umpire just kind of points at him and says, "Get out."
That apparently is an automatic situation in terms of the umpires, that kind of call, because you really are publicly clashing with the official. You're just not saying anything because everybody knows that's the signal for an appeal.
Yeah.
Like you're saying it's wrong, but apparently that's not an appealable. You can't appeal a check swing.
Yeah.
Although I don't know why. I mean,
I guess because it's only, I think, because you have to signal for the appeal within 2 seconds. So that appeal.
But I don't think he could appeal it anyways.
No, you can't.
You could just appeal called strikes.
You can just appeal the box.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, I don't mean to be flip about it, but I mean, give him more time to deal with his other things because he was out of the game by, the second inning.
Yeah, really.
And he had already done enough, as it turns out, a big home run in the first inning, right?
Equaled the Nats' run total for the night.
Yeah, a three-run homer and a 4-run first inning. That was a good sign for the Red Sox, though. The fact that there was no letdown after the Yankee series. They came right out, gave up a run in the top of the first, came right back and got enough runs to win the game. Basically, got 4 runs in that inning. But and Contreras has been a big part of it, right? He's up to
18 now.
18
for the year.
home runs. I was going to say 17 or 18. He and
Durbin,
my boy Durbin,
the little engine.
Yeah, he's come alive. I don't know what's going on there, but
those two. Now we have the Red Sox home run derby here for the month of June, coming down to the final day of the month here tonight because Contreras has 7 in the month. And then you got Caleb Durbin, who began the month with 1.
So he got 6.
He's got 6 in the month. 6 in the month for Durbin, who's hitting .325, 6 homers, 13 RBI. He's got 16 runs scored for the month to go with the .360 OBP. Still .231 with 7 homers for the overall numbers, so it'll take a little while for those to come around, but he's having a good month. He popped one into the monster seats last night. He's probably winning some goodwill with the fans that are tuned in, the 10,000 on a nightly basis that saw him dislocate his finger out west and pop it back in.
I haven't been here much lately, so I haven't followed the Red Sox quite as closely, other than I know what they're doing on a night-to-night basis. But when I look at the box score, it kind of blows my mind.
Oh, the names at the bottom?
They're a bunch of 4A guys for the most part. I mean, Yoshida never plays. Now he's batting leadoff.
Yep.
Rafael is having a good season. And Abreu, I don't know if he's playing as well as...
He's having an okay season.
Yeah, I mean, but I think everybody probably hoped for more.
Yeah, he did.
And he got off to a great... First week of the season, got off to a great start. And then you got Contreras, and he's been better. He's been better than what we think. He's having one of the best years as a major league. And then Duran is what he is. He gets a highlight blast about once every 10 to 15 days.
That's
Other than that, he hits about 210. And then Durbin, what's the reality? What he was for the first 2 months of the season, or what he's been for the month of June? And then you go down through him. I'm looking at last night's starting lineup: Siegler, Narvaez, and Chang. And I've never heard of Siegler and Chang.
Siegler has been their spark plug since coming up, which is, again, no Red Sox fan knew who he was before 2 weeks ago. Chang was called up Friday night when Meyer went on the IL, and he started every game since coming up because that's just the state of the depth on this team. It is funny when you see them sweep the Yankees, who are the class of the American League, and then you look at the box score, you look at the lineups that they're doing it with, and you're like, what? How is this possible? Who are these people?
And then I think about the guys I'm not even counting, who they've come and gone, Gasper and IKF.
Yep.
Both, I guess, hurt, but they're not
and
playing.
Gasper got the boot. He got sent back to Worcester.
So because he was the big guy for about a week.
He was,
and he had the big bat coming out of the catching position.
The lefty killer is back though. Romy Gonzalez. He's back from the dead.
The answer to your question, though, obviously, is the other side of the ledger is the pitching. I mean, it's been
so good.
Everybody in 12 consecutive quality starts. I don't know what their record is between that, but we know they've won the last 5 and 6 out of the last 7. So they've been getting it from I was watching. I think the game that Jake Bennett pitched
Yep.
was on TV that I could get the other night, late last week.
Even he's turning it in lately.
Yep. And I was my mind was kind of blown that Connolly Early, who's pitching tonight, has 12 decisions this season already.
Yeah.
He's 7-5, and his ERA is around 3. And Tolley pitches very well, like 3 out of 4 times.
Yep.
He always has one game that's maybe a little bit less. And because those guys, they were trying to keep him down in the minors so they wouldn't have to lose a year of major league service time with either one, but they had to bring him up early because, Crochet is
still waiting for him.
He's still waiting for him, and Roman Anthony must have some sort of thing going on. I don't know, but it's neither one of them's been around since basically early April.
They're getting their rehab year with the Red Sox out of the way.
It's and again, thinking about that too. You think about all the young guys. You got Meyer, who's now he's injured, so here he goes. This is status quo for like his entire professional career. And you got Roman Anthony, whose finger still hurts. I guess it's a torn tendon in his ring finger, right?
Still can't swing a bat without...
Can't swing a wiffle ball bat even. And then you've got Christian Campbell hitting about 210 down in Worcester. And then you got Tristan Cassis, who was the original one, who...
Just MIA.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Done, gone. Just cashing a paycheck.
Still in commercials.
And Bayo's down in the minor leagues. And so, all this young talent that was going to be the next generation of the Red Sox dynasty of the century is just...
It hasn't quite worked
flamed out so far.
It hasn't quite worked out like the Braves with how they put it together with their early signings.
Yeah, they don't get them wrong. And again, there was reason to think at the time that it wasn't the worst thing in the world to sign some of these guys, pay them $8 or $9 million a year for, and get 5 or 6 good years, but we're still looking for the first good year for most of them.
I know it.
It's kind of sad. So they've had to make do with all these guys you never heard of, and so far, what you don't know won't hurt you in terms of being a Red Sox fan with what they've been doing lately. I don't know how to speak this way about them because I just spent 2.5 months just tearing into them like everybody else, and justifiably so because they were the worst team in the American League.
Remember last year's team was obviously buoyed the most by Roman Anthony coming up and the great year that Garrett Crochet had, but like down the stretch when they needed to win games, it was 4A guys coming out of the woodwork who were helping to win games. It was Nate Eaton and it was Nick Sogard and
Abraham Toro.
Yeah, remember his run there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of how the Red Sox have backed themselves into a corner with how they run the organization top to bottom.
It's just like it's the Tampa Bay model, except for the fact that Tampa Bay always seems to come up with a young star that actually plays for a while. Because was it Wander
Franco?
Yeah, he's kind of went afoul of the law there back home.
Nobody wants to see him back in baseball anytime soon.
They got a slugger now.
Junior Camanero's 40 home run guy.
Yeah, I mean they've always had a guy that's come up and stayed up and delivered, and I'm kind of waiting for that to happen for the first time for the Red Sox. Maybe it's happening a little bit with Rafaela, although he's been in the league now
4 years,
like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
and Abreu was kind of And again, I don't think he's playing as well as we thought he was going to play this year.
No.
He had a terrible throw the other night.
Oh, my God. Almost cost him that Sunday night game against the Yankees.
I would think that...
almost went into the dugout.
Aroldis Chapman should have went out and strangled him for crying out loud. Throw the ball to me!
That was a rough one.
That was bad, but they bailed out and won an extra innings, I think, that night. But, anyways, they are, 4.5 out of the third playoff spot?
4.5 out.
5 teams ahead of them. But it's better than they were the last time I was here. They were
it's probably twice as good.
Yeah.
Half as bad as the last time you were here.
They've gone from 13 or 14 under 500 to 9 under 500 now.
Today is the first time since June 7th that the Red Sox are looking up at less than 10 games under 500.
There you go.
It's been almost 3 weeks, over 3 weeks since the last time they were single digits under 500. So it is a deep hole to dig out of, but 5-game win streak. They're trying to get going in that direction.
And so they've played 85 games. Is that right?
83, I think.
80.
Yeah, 83. 37 and 46.
So they still got essentially
half a season,
half a year left. Yeah. So
plenty of time to turn this ship around. Right. We'll have more Red Sox talk coming up in the next hour. Keegan Stiefel of Nesson will be joining us right around 5:30. We'll also have Sox props, of course, leading into Red Sox pregame tonight on the ticket ahead of Game 2 with the Nationals. We got to get to a break because coming up in the next segment, a business spotlight with Mike Dineen of Uno's. That's on the other side of this timeout on the drive. Coming up tonight on the ticket, can the Red Sox run it to 6 straight? Connolly Early tries for a personal 3-start win streak as he takes the ball for a 7:10 first pitch. Pregame coverage takes over the station at 6:10. The NBA free agency's legal tampering period tips off tonight at 6, and while deals can't be officially signed until July 6th, some agreements are already being struck. Kristaps Porzingis re-up with the Warriors on a 2-year, $40 million deal. Robert Williams heading back to Portland on a 3-year, $44 million deal. And LeBron has informed the Lakers that he'll be moving elsewhere for a 24th NBA season, and cleverly did so one day after Bronny's $2.3 million contract with the Lakers became fully guaranteed for the 26-27 season. Also, the big trade that we came into the show talking about, Kawhi Leonard, appears set to come back to the Eastern Conference. He will be heading to Toronto, a package of Brandon Ingram and a couple of draft picks going back to the Clippers in return. Maine Hockey has landed a verbal commitment from the number 27 overall pick off the board in the first round of last Friday's NHL draft. That would be 17-year-old Maxim Sokolovsky, who was selected in the first round by the Philadelphia Flyers. He will join the Black Bears for the 27-28 season after playing 44 games for the London Knights of the OHL last year. And Jack Cosgrove is set to be inducted into Maine football's Ring of Honor. Cosgrove coached the Black Bears from 93 to 2015 and is the program's all-time winningest coach with 128 wins. He's been the head coach at Colby since 2018. The Mules went 6-3 last season. The Sports Center brought to you by Uno Pizzeria and Grill, where they have late-night deals every night in the bar or lounge, 9 p.m. to close. You can enjoy $6 apps, $5 cheeseburgers, or $5 Indie cheese or pepperoni deep dish at 725 Sellwater Avenue in Bangor. Order takeout at 947-5000 and at unos.com. And we will transition this right into the conversation with our next guest. That would be Mike Dineen, General Manager over at Uno's in Bangor. We welcome you back into the first hour of the drive. Mark Paulette alongside Ernie Clark. And at Uno's, they have been the place to party with Team USA throughout the group stage matches and now into the knockout round of the World Cup. The round of 32 match coming up tomorrow night. Ernie, USA versus Bosnia-Herzegovina. And Mike Dineen on the Heroes Hotline. Why don't you tell us about all the deals to enjoy at Uno's while cheering on Team USA?
Well, when the World Cup was coming along, we didn't know what kind of traffic we would have in the Bangor area. So we decided to kind of throw out a crazy deal out there. We're having $1 20-ounce Coors Lights during all U.S. soccer games. And it's been a really big hit with our guests. And then to go along with that, we have happy hour during the whole time. And it just so happens that this game coming up tomorrow night runs into those late night deals that was in the commercial traffic before this. So kind of a lot of great deals all piled together to watch what could be a great game. And I don't think anybody expected this out of the U.S. So it's been exciting to see.
Yeah, and what time? So what time would the deal start tomorrow? Game starts at 8 or 9.
So the game starts at 8. So
Okay.
the $1 Coors Light deal goes from 8, starts, went from kickoff till the final whistle. So if they go into overtime, it goes longer. Penalty kicks like the few games yesterday. It goes until that final game is over,
Yeah.
And then the late night deals start at 9 p.m. and it's until close. And that's kind of a perfect thing. You get in there, you get settled down, hang out with your friends, have a beverage or two, and then all of a sudden come 9 o'clock, you're ready for a $5 burger,
$1 Coors. You must have some people rooting for extra time and rooting for the
they
kind of
want
like
US going to the finals.
at soccer games. You hear the fans always whistling to the referee because they want them to finish the game. At Uno's, they're yelling to the referee to extend the game so they can keep the $1 talls flowing.
They want the PKs to go with like 10, 11 players deep. So
you've got some big screens or some TVs that people can watch while they're doing, right?
We have 11 TVs in our bar area, and then we have our big screen TV set up in the back of the restaurant, closer to the kitchen side. So plenty of TVs. There'll be plenty of room for plenty of people.
So, Mike, I know when we've been out there in the past doing shows from Uno's, I think you had one night run off to coach one of your kids' soccer games. Are you a soccer fan, or are you just getting behind it because, hey, it's the world's game, it's the World Cup?
I am a soccer fan. I can't say I'm a huge fan of watching like the MLS, but when the World Cup comes along, I enjoy watching all the games. It's not just the U.S. games, just the skill level and the talent that you see from all these players from all over the world. It's amazing. And I've been trying to get my son to get into it and watch it a little bit more and be like, this is how we should be playing, like trying to start coaching early, before the season even starts.
There you go. Get it baked in there.
Exactly.
I'm kind of like you, Mike. I'm not a huge soccer fan in terms of like the British leagues and the European leagues and all that stuff. But to me, it's kind of like the Olympics of soccer, where it's a national thing, and you can see how much it means to the people, the teams. You can see how much it means to the people that come across the pond and from all over the world to fill these stadiums in the U.S. and then you get down. And I'm not a fan necessarily of penalty kick shootouts in most sports, but with what it means to everybody that's involved, including this year, the U.S. If it comes to that, I mean, it doesn't get much more intense than that, does it?
No, and you saw the pressure on those guys' faces yesterday on those two games where they had the PKs in them, that Germany game and the game after that. It's like those guys looked stressed out. They knew, and they were trying all the different footwork to kind of throw the goalie off. Like it's harder than it looks. You're only 12 feet away from that goal line, but it's not easy to put that goal away.
No, when you get an entire country's hopes riding on your shoulders and you're feeling those nerves creep up your legs and your back and kind of paralyze you as you're standing over the spot there. We're talking with Mike Dineen, general manager at Uno, 725 Stillwater Avenue in Bangor. You get some other great deals coming up around the 4th that I'm going to get to in a moment, but I was actually at Uno's last week for a friend's birthday dinner. We went out, had a great celebration. They actually, I requested that they sing for my friend just to kind of embarrass him. Didn't expect the waitresses to do so, but they did. 3 of them, kind of an impromptu Uno celebration for him, so props to them for doing that. But I noticed you got like a new summer menu there, Mike, right? You got a lot of lobster combos and lobster collabs. What's going on there?
Yeah, every year we throw out the summer menu and try some new things on there. But every year we also have the lobster deal. So we have our lobster and shrimp scampi. We have a lobster roll, and this year new is a lobster salad. So you can get the choice of getting cold lobster or hot buttered lobster on top of a nice salad. So it's a nice healthy option for people that are looking to, do a little bit better in the summertime, during that beach weather.
So we're going to do the special event tomorrow for the round of 32. Can we anticipate you guys staying with Team USA as long as they're in the tournament?
Oh, you can 100% guarantee that we're going to stay with Team USA while they're still in the tournament. So that deal is not going away. It's just something to drive foot traffic, because as I've always said, we don't have the greatest location up there. So if I can get some new people in the doors with some crazy deals, just to see the quality of food, like Mark said, you come in, you have a great experience at Uno's all the time. And, we just want more people to know about that. So
$1 Coors Lights, again, that buys some loyalty right there tomorrow night during the Team USA games. But as I mentioned, other specials coming up for the week of 4th of July, or at least the weekend for the 4th of July. You got BOGO entrees for just $2.50 on Saturday, BOGO deep dish or thin crust pizza for $2.50 on Sunday, dine-in or takeout. So take advantage of buy one, get one coming up for the 4th, right, Mike?
Yeah, no, the 4th of July is always a hard holiday for us to defeat because if it's beautiful outside, people want to be doing exactly what I'm doing right now, sitting outside, sitting in the sun, enjoying the warm weather, and, they want to come sit in an air-conditioned restaurant. So, if there are some people around town, they want to come in and get something good to eat and save a few bucks because we all know how expensive everything is these days, you get a great deal. You could come in and get a T-bone for $30 and get a second T-bone for $2.50. So...
Can't beat that. Cannot beat that right there. He is Mike Dineen, runs the show out at Uno's on Stillwater Avenue in Bangor. Mike, can we get a score prediction for the game out of you tomorrow night?
Okay. I'm gonna go 3-1 US.
3-1. All right. So a little bit of breathing room is what you're sensing.
That's what I'm sensing. But I mean, I will say that these two upsets, well, the Morocco game wasn't so much of an upset, but that Germany game was a big upset, and nobody expected that. So nothing the U.S. can sleep on, that's for sure. They can't go in thinking playing Bosnia that it's going to be a walk in the park because they made it to the elimination rounds on purpose,
Absolutely. Well, Mike, we appreciate the time you took for us here today. Get ready for a party atmosphere tomorrow at Uno's with Team USA, and we'll catch up with you soon.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Of course, Mike Dineen joining us right there on the Heroes Hotline. Once again, Uno's featuring $1 tall cores for the Team USA game, 8 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night. Make sure you are at Uno's for it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good deal.
That's really literally a deal that you cannot beat.
Here's the stat I know about tomorrow, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Uh-oh.
But apparently, Team USA has lost its last 12. I don't know if it's World Cup games or just games in general. Probably World Cup games. Last 12 games to European opponents.
That's not a great stat.
And
it's not a great stat.
No, it's not a great stat. But they do, and heck, they already beat Paraguay.
True.
Who beat Germany.
Who took out the Germans.
So, and they beat them pretty convincingly. Now, the other part of it is, and I'm always looking for the negativity, of course, in each of their first 2 wins,
Yep.
they were helped by an own goal very early in the game. Both of them.
Yeah, they were.
They were ahead
Got
before
some
they even
momentum
scored,
there.
and that's got to mean something in games like this, especially. I mean, and some of that will be good news for the Americans, because if you can't get a boost of adrenaline and confidence when you already had 1-0 before you've even done anything yet, basically, then you got no chance. So I mean, it gives you a great opportunity.
On the other side of things, Bosnia-Herzegovina, I'm pretty sure the guy who scored the goal that sent Bosnia-Herzegovina to this World Cup was born in, like, Wisconsin. It's kind of like a World Baseball Classic deal with some of these countries filling out their rosters, like Cape Verde, the lengths they went to with genealogy to fill out their starting 11 and make it all the way through, shockingly, to the knockout stage. Like, there are some, not creative, but you got to dig a little deeper for some of the lineups than the others.
You're not saying that this guy will feel like he owes the U.S. something, and
maybe knock one in early in the game.
Yeah.
DraftKings, get on it.
Yeah, what $5 on that?
That'll do it for this segment on The Drive. Coming up next, we will wrap up the first hour of the show, and then it's off to The Drive at 5. We got a couple of guests joining us, Sean Devaney of Heavy.com, Keegan Stiefel of Nesson. The Drive is brought to you by Dean's Detailing, the auto detailing leader for over 55 years. Renew your vehicle's appearance, protect your auto investment. Also brought to you by Hero Sports Grill and Entertainment Center, the place to be in downtown Bangor, and at herosportsgrill.com. Back here, putting the finishing touches on the first hour of The Drive. Mark Paulette, Ernie Clark hanging out with you on this Tuesday afternoon. We're brought to you in part by Bangor Window Shade and Drapery, offering custom blind shades, drapery, and outdoor awnings at 105 Main Street in downtown Bangor. Also brought to you by UMaine Athletics. This fall, it's time to pack the stands at Alphonse Stadium and cheer on Maine football. Season tickets on sale now, and they give you the best value and the best seats for every home game. Visit goblackbears.com/tickets. Ernie, I realized a couple of segments ago it was the Drive Poll segment, but we got talking Red Sox, and I just forgot about the Drive Poll during those segments, so I'll hit you with both of them now.
All right.
You've actually answered the first one a couple of times over the course of this first hour. Penalty kicks at the World Cup, exciting or silly? You say exciting.
I say exciting at this point, because, I mean, it's one of those deals where you can play forever, right?
Yep.
Like these hockey games that go 4 or 5 overtimes.
I like it, too, because I like how much it levels out the field. I think if you are one of these David versus Goliath situations, kind of like a Paraguay versus Germany yesterday, if you match the other team, you match the opponent for 120 minutes, you earn the right to kind of end the game on level footing, to both have an equal chance at the end. So I'm there with you. I like the excitement. I like just watching players clam up and, freak out under the spotlight.
I kind of don't like it. I've never liked it. In a way, because of the fact that it's different from what you just did for the previous 2.5 hours to decide the match. It's like
it's just a guessing game.
It's just instant. It's just like an instant game as opposed. But what makes it different in a situation like this, and I would like the Olympic hockey final or something like that, is the fact that there is so much on every shot with national implications, team implications, and just the atmosphere of the arena, especially in soccer, even more than hockey, just because there's 75,000 people there for a soccer match, as opposed to 20, which is a good crowd for hockey, but it's indoors. And just to see what it means to everybody in those situations. That's why I was telling
fella from Uno's there. I like that's what I like for soccer. I don't care about Manchester City. I mean,
Yeah.
if I can root against John Henry, whatever, that's okay. But the rest of it doesn't really. It's hard for me to keep track of it, and so I don't. But when it's a national event and it means as much to these people, as they do. By the way, Canada is in just as good a shape as America right now.
Yep. They're already through, actually.
Yeah, they are. Mexico hasn't played.
They
next
played
game.
tonight.
Yeah. Are they playing in Mexico?
Yes,
Okay,
Mexico
so
City,
they get
yep.
the home field
They
advantage.
get to host, unlike Canada, who screwed that up at the end of their
Right.
group stage.
But the atmosphere of those things are just incredible.
Yeah,
And
off the charts.
it's just it won me over before in a World Cup sense, but this year in particular, I can live with it on a very limited basis. Put it that way.
Second drive poll today, we were talking about it on yesterday's show. Is the third wild card good or bad for baseball?
Bad, because it gives teams hope that really don't deserve to have hope.
Yeah, that's kind of where we came to. I was just talking and came to the realization, think about the Red Sox since the third wild card came into play. They've screwed up every trade deadline because they don't know which side of it they're on.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard not to be close enough. I haven't looked at the standings in the last day or two, but at one point there were only 3 teams in the American League that were above 500.
Yeah, it's still the case. There's only 3 or 4.
So talk about rewarding mediocrity. That's what you're doing with that. And I don't know what it makes in terms of, so it's 14 teams out of 30. Is that what it is? That in both leagues that make the playoffs, which is, it's about average for professional sports in terms of the number of teams that qualify for postseason play.
Yep.
I mean, it's right around 50%. So
Honestly, it's
hard to argue with that, I guess.
baseball and football are the two that keep it under 50%.
Yeah.
Basketball and hockey, you look at it, more than 50 go in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess once you get in there, it's good to have that chance. But I don't know. It just takes a lot out of like if I'm the Red Sox, or if I'm a Red Sox fan more than I am, I follow them, but I wouldn't consider myself a huge fan. I mean, right now they're 4.5 games out of the playoffs with half the season left to go. Sure, I'm contending.
I know. You're right there.
I'm contending, and you can't tell me I'm not. So why are you expecting me to give up the ship and trade Sonny Gray, who's 9-1 with an ERA sub-3, or Aroldis Chapman, who's one of the best relievers in Major League Baseball and continues to be? Why would I trade those guys, especially when half the rest of the team is out, and the rest of these guys are still pulling it off and keeping us in the mix.
And we're saying this 2 days after the midway point of the season. Games 83 are in the books. And 13 games ago, through 70 games, this was only the second team since 1967, to win less than 30 of their first 70 games. So this is, by some measures, the second worst Red Sox team to begin a season since 1967. And as you just said, they're 4.5 games out of a playoff position.
So this is a function of just how bad the American League is compared to the National League as well, right? The fact that there's only 3 teams that are over 500. It just, I mean, it's like, no, you don't deserve to be in the playoff. I just can't imagine starting this lineup that they've been starting the last week or so in a playoff setting.
Yeah, well, they kind of did last year, really, when you look at the lineup.
They did. But I mean, right now, at least, for the last 2 weeks, they've had playoff level pitching, starting pitching. And, if that's what it's kind of what they said it was going to be, right? During the offseason?
Score 3 runs, and they are 34-17 this season.
Yeah.
Give them 3 runs, 34-17.
Yeah, but that's what they said. We still want that power hitting right-handed bat, but they said, well, we're going to do it with pitching and defense. And the defense is better than it's been, except for Wilmer Abreu the other night.
Yeah, he had a rough inning there.
But the pitching has been great, and that's without their ace. So I guess you give them credit for that in terms of them being a potential playoff team. There are a lot of teams to move ahead of, though.
There's a lot of teams that can stake that claim of being a potential playoff team right now.
How many can't?
If you're in the American League, you are in the conversation.
Pretty much everybody, right? Because,
there's only 3 teams behind them.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
And I think last place is 7.5 out. 7 out at last check.
Because they were it a week ago, right? They were last at one point.
Kansas City, last place in the American League, 35-50. They're 7.5 games out of the third wild card.
So they are 3 games behind the Red Sox. So the Red Sox are 3 games out of having the worst team in the American League and 4.5 games out of a playoff spot.
Technically closer to the basement, but
it's close.
And if you extend it out, they are 4.5 out from the third wild card, 5 out from the number 1 pick. So that's how equidistant it is from the actual bottom of baseball to an American League playoff standing.
Should it be that way?
It shouldn't be. No, that's what we're saying is the issue with the third wild card.
I mean, it's a total reward for mediocrity because I don't know what the third playoff team had for a record last year, but I can't imagine it's much over 500.
No, it's normally between like 86, 88 wins, right in there.
Because 10 to 12. Some of the worst teams have been really worse. I mean, thinking about a couple of the White Sox teams, for instance. Yeah. I mean, talking about teams at the bottom of the standings, such that you could beat a few games over 500 by beating up on them. Indeed, man.
No one out there that bad this year. Like we said, Kansas City the worst of it, but. Well, let's see if the Red Sox can run it to 6 in a row. We got pregame coming up in a little over an hour tonight on The Ticket. We got a break until the drive at 5 because we got 2 guests joining us there. Sean Devaney at 5:15. I had a chance to talk with Keegan Stiefel of Nesson. He'll be joining us at 5:30. That's coming your way in just a couple of minutes on Maine Sports Leader 92.9 The Ticket, WEZQ Bangor.